Hey guys, my name is Jason with Mount Baker Mining and Metals, and on today's video, I'm going to show you how to build a smelting furnace for gold and silver. So I've been asked about this quite a bit over the years, about how I build my furnaces. There's lots of different furnaces out there that you can buy. Some are K-wool, some are that refractory stuff. There's a lot of different ways to do it. I like to use K-wool, and the K-wool is so light and not very much mass compared to like one of those refractory furnaces that it doesn't take a lot of heat to get all that up to temperature, and the K-wool is such a good insulator that I can actually touch the side of it when it's 2200 degrees inside the furnace melting our gold and silver. So I like to keep things simple, and I like to do it right in the ground. These are just 2 cinder blocks. The first step I'm going to do is we're going to build a platform on these cinder blocks of fire brick. We've got our platform there now, and I'm just going to dump some Portland cement on top. Get all these big pieces out of here. But this is going to act as the base of our furnace. And so any spills or failed crucibles are going to go down onto this cement. It also makes a nice little insulation layer between the brick and the bottom of the crucible. Now you got to make it big enough for your biggest crucible, and this is a number 20. That's about the biggest I use in this furnace. And the wool comes in 24 inch widths, so I need a 12-inch width for this, give you a couple inches of headroom. And so I'm going to cut my sheet in half, and then I got to do some math here to figure out the circumference. I do about an 18-inch across. So we'll figure out how much we need to get wrapped around for our furnace wall. So here's our roll of K-wool or Insa wool, and it's a super high temperature insulation. And we measured our furnace at 18 inches across, and the circumference of a circle is 2 pi r or pi d. And I'm going to go a little bit farther than that. I'm going to go 4 times the diameter so we can have a little overlap. So 4 times 18 inches is 72 inches, which is 6 feet. So I need about that much. This stuff's really cool. You can cut it with just a trim knife or razor blade. And because this is 2 feet wide and I only need 12 inches, I'm going to cut a 6-foot piece. Then I'm going to cut it down long ways, and we'll actually have enough insulation for 2 furnaces. Now I can bring our piece in and wrap it around. I may have cut it longer than I needed to, but that's okay. Probably could have done with about 5 inches or 5 feet. And there is our rough furnace. You want to make sure you have enough room to come down and grab it with your tongs. And I'm going to inject here, and the gases are going to swirl around this way. So I want to make sure that the inside is in the same direction, so you don't have this lip that the gases are all blowing out of, if that makes sense. So you got to kind of have it all going in the same direction to keep the hot air in. And now I will take our trim knife and I'll just cut a little mouse hole right here, and then we can start going over the injector and stuff. There's my little mouse hole for our propane injector. Now let's go over the details here. This is just a 5-gallon propane tank, just like you use in your barbecue. You need a high flow regulator, and I'm not quite sure what high flow means, but I think it says 0 to 30 psi, and that's what I use. That's plenty for me. I have a propane line going down to this thing. I just got fittings at the hardware store. This is just a little T reduced down with a little elbow and fitting so that the propane line will go on there. And I think this is a 1-inch nipple. I think it's 18 inches long It really only needs to be threaded on one side to go into your T. So this shop vac acts as my blower. So it blows down through here into this PVC fitting. This is a valve so I can adjust the flow. I got a T. Sometimes in the bigger furnace I'll run 2 different propane bottles so I can have it blow both ways. But when I'm not using it, you can just cap off the one end, or I plug it with a brick. But if you just need one and you're not doing 2 blowers, you can just have that straight through. You don't need the T. And then the hose connects there, and it blows air, and then the propane mixes down that nipple and into the furnace, so you get a really good propane oxygen mixture. Here's another type of injector I've seen a lot of, and there's various different forms of this, but it's essentially the propane blows through there, and then you have an adjustable oxygen. It pulls like a Venturi, it pulls oxygen and air in. I don't like these. I found I can't get enough oxygen to flow into the furnace that way, and that's why I use that blower. It can get way more oxygen way faster, and it gets way hotter way faster. So I've seen these on some of the other furnaces. Again, I don't like them. Some people swear by them, but I found that I can get it a lot hotter, a lot faster with that other shop vac blower system. And there's a lid I cut. That's just a square with a hole in it. KO wool, nothing fancy. Our Crucible's still down in there if you can see it. And so we've got an inch or 2 of clearance on the top of our Crucible. The KO wool is just sitting right down here, right on top of our cylinder we made. And then when you go to pour, you can lift that off, grab your Crucible, and pour with it. Well, here's something I'm gonna try. I haven't done this on any of my other furnaces, but this is like a refractory cement. And a lot of people have been on me about sealing up this KO wool, or Insa wool, and I thought I'd give it a try. I'm most interested to see if it can help the KO wool last a little bit longer. I'll show you my previous furnace. The KO wool gets eaten up pretty fast, and I don't know if that's because of the borax or the soda ash I'm using, but I'm thinking this refractory cement may seal it up and help with protecting it in the long term. So we'll give it a shot here. Well, there it is, all sealed up. Let me put it over on our furnace stand, and we'll try and get the top and see what it looks like in there. Well, now we'll do up the top section here, and that should get it all pretty well sealed up, that everywhere that has flame contact. There we go, we're all sealed up. Let's see how that holds up. Well, let's light this thing up and see if we can dry out that cement. And the one last thing I do is I wrap a couple pieces of baling wire just around the outside to hold it all together so it doesn't come unwrapped. But that furnace patch may actually kind of cement those 2 pieces together. And I'll let that dry out, and then we'll get to smelting. And that's it. We've got our furnace here. We put the refractory on it. We'll see how that goes. But now I got to get to smelting. So if you guys want to see some cool videos of me smelting down some gold, silver, and all kinds of other stuff, be sure to subscribe. And thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.